Hello everyone and welcome to D&D News! How's it going? I am going to be as loud as I can and then go very softly because that's what makes everyone feel happy, including all of our sound guys. So what's going on, people? I am Greg Tito and I am here to give you all of the Dungeons & Dragons news that you may need about upcoming D&D games and books and accoutrements, accessories. All of the stuff that we are releasing this month has finally come to pass. We are very excited to show it all off for you and hopefully get you guys playing with it as soon as possible. But because this is an awesome video way to get in touch with all of you, I thought I'd show as much as I can physically and mentally, as well as psionically, for you to check out and see what you might think. Thank you, Fu, Random Ricker. Thank you for the compliment of this. It's one of my favorite hats, and it has a little bit of red flecks in it, so I thought it worked really well with this red t-shirt, sporting my favoriteness right about there. So I teased on Twitter that I'm going to be showing off the alternate covers that only are available in the Core Rules gift set in game stores, designed by Hydra74, and I will get to those in just one moment. But first, I want to say two things. One is we're really excited about Dice Camera Action episode 116, and that is going to be coming in just about 53 minutes, 52 and a half minutes to be precise. But there's also two products that are available starting today, and I wanted to show them to you right now. So these are them, the ABCs of D&D and the 1, 2, 3s of D&D, and they are fantabulous, and I want you all to check them out for your children's and your children's children and your children's children's children's, as well as your adults' children's and your friends who may have little ones, or even just adults, because they are great ways into what is cool about Dungeons & Dragons. So I read some from 1, 2, 3s of D&D last week, so I'm going to read a little bit of the ABCs of 1, 2, 3, so you can get some of the fun of this book from Ivan Van Normand and illustrated by Caleb Cleveland. We spoke to them last week, actually just yesterday on Dragon Talk, but that episode will be dropping on the RSS feed today. They are two lovely human beings putting together great work, and they both have kids, so they understand that reading books that are not fun can't be as fun. And books that are fun, such as these, are ones that you will read time and again to your kids because you enjoy them just as much. So here we go. I'm going to scoot over a little bit to the side so you can see the full book here. So A is for adventure. Our journey has begun. B is for book. The source of all our fun. C is for creatures of every shape and size. D is for Dungeon Master, who helps our imaginations rise. E is for enchantment, magic that helps us do our best. F is for friendship, the best reward for quests. I love this image mostly because it looks like what a real Dungeons & Dragons session would look like. Good stuff. G is for goblins, a noisy, mischievous crew. H is for heroes, especially ones like you. And I am reading the chat, so I'm going to start doing story time to you guys all the time. I is for imagination. What's your favorite tale? J is for journey. Time to wander down the trail. K is for kingdom. Let's explore, discover, and roam. L is for lost, so it's time to head for home. M is for mystery, which can begin with a stone. N is for nature, and its wonders still unknown. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but it is, well, you know, maybe I should just read the entire thing. What do you guys think? Those of you in chat, do you want to read? You want to see what happens? What happens with O? What do you guys think? Should I? All right. O is for owlbear, which you won't find in a zoo. P is for planning. So what do you want to do? Q is for quest, an adventure we can share. R is for Ravenloft, where spooky stories scare. S is for ship. Let's all go for a ride. T is for treasure, the sweet stuff monsters hide. U is for Underdark, where legends lie untold. V is for villains, either cowardly or bold. W is for wisdom, a trait most essential. X is for XP, how we unlock our potential. Y is for yes, which all DMs should say. Z is for zeal, the spirit to save the day. And that's all done by these two amazing authors. Check it out if you can. It is available now in game stores, not game stores, in all places where you get books. Today, available. They're only $15. They're great board books. There's two of them. There's the ABCs of 1, 2, 3 and the 1, 2, 3s of D&D. Actually, I like both of them, but the story that's told in 1, 2, 3s of D&D is really cool. And it has like a continuous thing. And I just love this image. The heroes visit 5 towers, a city on the boom. I love all those 5 towers. Aren't they cool? I want to go explore all these. That's what's so cool about these books, is that they actually feel like they are rife with adventure hooks that I want to start playing, you know, with my adult friends as well as my kids. So pick these up. They're great gifts for those of you on your list who may be interested in learning more about Dungeons & Dragons, who have new kids, or even kids who have been around the block a few times. They're great introductions. I dig them, and I think it's going to be, I think a lot of people are going to be purchasing. They're not quite ideal to go into a stocking or anything like that, but they're in that same vein, and you should pick them up if you can. All right. So yeah, Midnight Rose. You can get them in bookstores. They're available at all bookstores everywhere starting today. If they don't have them, go check them out, but you can also order them online. There are a bunch of ways to do that, and I look for you to check it out. Now, I am going to show you now the next thing you can't get anywhere else but inside your friendly local game store. Are you ready? I am. So I've been showing off images of these for a long time on D&D News. This is the back kind of flap that is in the shrink-wrapped version of the core rule sets that you can only, they're called Core Rules gift sets that you can only get in game stores. There's 2 versions. I'm going to show you the version that is only available in game stores right now, and then for a little bit I'll show you the other ones. But it comes in this amazing slip case. It's got a great spell binding there. This will look beautiful on your shelf like that. Here's the other edge of it there. And then inside, you have all 3 of the core rule books with their own individual covers, and then a Dungeon Master screen. But I'll show you that at the end because these all look fantastic. All right, so this is the Player's Handbook. They use the artwork from the cover of the 5th edition core rule book. The Player's Handbook had King Schnurr on the cover, if you remember. This one looks glorious. It's got all of the same inside text, that you've come to know and well. It's most up-to-date version of the text, so anything that has been clarified or edited is in there. Here's the back cover. It's got a nice kind of metallic sheen to it. You can't see it too well, but it is glorious in person. Each one of the colors here has a little bit of metallic foilness to it. So amazing. This is the player's handbook. Next up is the Monster Manual. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, smells like fresh Xanathar. That was a good idea, Hanselman, because that is the first thing I do whenever I get a new book is to sniff the heck out of it. This one is going to get a lot of use in my game. All the great monsters that are available in the Monster Manual. And it's the Xanathar in all of its glory. And again, I'm going to try and angle it a little bit so you can see some of the foilness. This blue really pops, and it feels very much like the player's handbook feels in all of its glory. So again, these covers were designed by Hydro74. He is the artist who designed the covers for the alternate covers for Xanathar's Guide to Everything and Vola's Guide to Monsters. So you've seen versions of his work before, that kind of Baroque feel you've seen on covers of all kinds of stuff that we put out recently, including the Dungeon Tiles Reincarnated, as well as the character sheets. All right, so you got one more. I know that was I was talking about the Monster Manual. I'm showing now. I'm throwing all three of the core rulebooks now, and this is the Dungeon Master's Guide. Dun dun dun. Purpley and delicious. Of course, Astarak figures prominently here. He is a lich, and he looks pretty nasty there. Here is the back cover, and again, here's the foiling. You can kind of see how it all has this kind of metallic sheen to it. I haven't shown much of the spines, but that's the spine right there, in case you were interested in seeing how that will look on your shelf. Dun, dun, dun. Dungeon Master's Guide. And again, it all comes in this cardboard slip case in all of its glory there. And here's one thing that you will not be able to get anywhere else, and that is a Dungeon Master screen with that style. Look at that. Look at how glorious that is. Dun, 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 dun. And it has all of the interior stuff that is in the Dungeon Master screen reincarnated. I love the Baroque feel of this artwork. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? And you got the two red dragons on either side. And yeah, this is pretty fancy. It's got that metallicness to it, as I've pointed out. It also has the soft, as do all of the books, and perhaps I haven't put it up, but it's got that soft kind of generous like feel that the other alt covers from Xanathar's and Volo's and Mordenkainen and Stomopho's all had. So this core rule set, gift set, is available only in game stores. The alternate covers are only available in game stores, so you have to check them out there. And I believe these are going to be available starting November 20th. You might be able to get them a few days early. Shipping and printing has been hard to predict for all of these, but I believe you could get them as early as November 16th in game stores in North America, but they are available this month for sure. Ooh, I put them in upside down. But there they are in all of its glory. I hope you check it out. These are great gifts, not only for yourself. Well, let's be honest, we're mostly going to buy this for ourselves because they look so pretty. But you could potentially get them for someone who's just getting into Dungeons & Dragons. Maybe they just have a player's handbook or they don't have any physical books at all. This is a great way to get them up to speed with everything they might need. And they look really good. I showed this off last week, but I'm going to show them off again because I think they are also really cool. There's another different core rules set out there. A little bit more reserved than the other ones. It comes in another slipcase similar to that. It's got nice kind of metallic weirdo finish on the corner there. And I'm just going to show you these really quick because they don't really come off like that easy or that much to talk about. It's the same cover that you have from the editions that you have, but they've got a metallic sheen to them. And again, this doesn't show up too well on the video, but I want to make sure I get it across. It's this rich red, ruby red sheen here on the player's handbook. It looks beautiful. The back has got it too. There's even on the red for the swath has got kind of a metallic foilness to it, which I dig. The monster manual, you can kind of see how the alternate covers are a take on these images, but this looks really beautiful as well. And again, it's got that metallic sheen. This red down here really pops. And then finally is the DMG with our friend Purpley Acererak. So purpley. Yummy. Yeah, it does almost have like a 3D effect to a certain extent. And Lights MKA, yes, they have the updated, these are the most updated versions of the text with all of the erratas you may ever want or need, all of the clarifications. This is it. Beautiful, right? And then there is the Dungeon, I'm not going to take it out of the plastic, but the Dungeon Master screen is basically the Dungeon Master screen reincarnated one, but it does also have, nope, I think I'm lying. I don't think it does have a foiling effect on it, only on the books themselves. And these are the only way that you can get these foiled covers is with the purchase of the Core Rules gift set. And these are available everywhere. This version is available anywhere you can get books. Or anything Dungeons and Dragons-ish. Yes, it's very purpley. Those are available on November 20th, as Lauren is throwing into the chat right now. So check them out if you can. They're perfect to gift to your friends and family, like I said, who may be getting into Dungeons & Dragons now. Maybe you buy those versions for yourself and you gift your older editions to other ones that may have been gotten some coffee spilled on them, or even some other brown liquors spilled on them. Here's the perfect way to refresh and get everything that you may need with all of the awesome errata ready to go. So we heard you like errata, so we put some errata in your errata. Yeah, it's all in there. I don't even like to really call them errata because it's not errata in the traditional sense, but it is all of the up-to-date clarifications and rules as they were intended to be written, and to take away any kind of corner cases or anything like that. So all of that text is the most updated versions, and they're in there now. All right, well, those, like I said, are coming out very soon, but there are some other things that are coming out, and we have the physical product of for the first time. What's that? It's Dungeon of the Mad Mage, ladies and gentlemen. This is a huge, well, relatively huge book. It's 320 pages of non-stop Undermountain goodness. Everything you need to delve into Undermountain after your player characters have exhausted everything that could happen in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, or maybe not. Maybe you just want to jump them into Undermountain. Here's the way to do it. There is 23 levels of Undermountain. I'm going to give you a quick shot of the table of contents because it is robust. What? I can't believe it. There's so many levels. Look at it. It goes up to level 23, as I said, the Mad Wizard's Lair. There's also a section on Skullport and what's happening in Skullport. What's cool about this is that there is a table here that lists what level your player characters should be at to tackle the challenges in the individual levels. So I saw some about this on Twitter and other things, but you can use this book totally as a standalone. If you're like, oh, I just need a dungeon for my 10th level party, why don't I just take one of these levels and excise it out? And there's enough story and interesting things happening within each level that you can just pull it out, and it's very modular, and put it in there. There's lots of through lines and connections between all of these levels, but it's a perfect tool for a dungeon master if you just want to borrow places from Undermountain and port it into your game. It's perfectly designed for that type of thing. Each one of these are very interesting. There's quests, there is hooks here in the beginning, there's goals for the Mad Mage himself and what that might mean, and could be the overarching story of what's occurring. And the maps, I'll show you more of the maps, but the maps are versatile and very well made for how they can be used. It doesn't have the incredible painterly look of each one of the levels and the maps, but I prefer the way to use these because you can add those details to yourself. I imagine with a dungeon delve like this, you are going to be drawing a lot of this terrain out on a grid with a wet erase marker and that type of thing. So these maps are designed in ways to allow you to do that. It is an infinite dungeon. So I see you guys asking about maps. I'm going to show you the map pack that goes with it, as Akisha and other folks have to say. So here we are. I showed these off a little bit last week, but it's worth showing off again. So this is it, the Dungeon of the Mad Mage Maps and Miscellany pack. Dun dun dun. Comes in a nice little folder. You open it up and it's got little key of each one of the levels down here. And then inside, here, I'm doing a bad job of showing this off, are individually pull-outable maps in wet erase. This is shiny wet erase maps and miscellany here. Each one of them are available for you to explore, and you can track where your player characters are, where they may go next. It's all clearly outlined. The iconography of what's in them is very clear, at least to me. There's also a few handouts in here for rumors and plots. There's these sheets here, and there's little mini quests as well as elder runes that your player characters can discover and what they mean for them when they discover them. So good stuff in here. That's why it's called Maps and Miscellany and not just maps. But there is a ton here for Dungeon Masters to explore and use. We wanted to provide this because it's made for to kind of ease the way that you can play through Dungeon of the Mad Mage and all the content that's within it. All right, cool. So any other questions there about Dungeon of the Mad Mage and what's happening? That map pack should be out now. Let me just double and triple check about that. It is, oh, I'm sorry. The Dungeon of the Mad Mage Maps and Miscellany pack is coming out on November 20th. You can find that everywhere you get products, whether it be at the bookstore or at the game store itself. Look for it on November 20th. A beauty and a geek. You just got. What did you just get? What just came in the mail? Because that's pretty fortuitous, I must say, that you just got it. So good deal. Maverick Kanisa, the LE limited edition. All right, I was thinking Lawful Evil of the gift box. That should be out, as I said, November 16th in game stores, but I will say there has been a lot of delays due to the printers having to produce a lot of this stuff. It was one thing that I don't think I realized. I'm sure others did realize, but I didn't realize this, that this product is not just one thing that needs to get made. There are 5 things that need to get made in order to make this available to you. There's the 3 books, there's the Dungeon Masters screen, as well as the outside slipcase. So that Lawful Evil, this Lawful Evil gift set will only, as I said, be available November 16th, but I would check with your local game store to make sure that is that they're going to have it in stock for that day. Definitely by the 20th, you should be able to get them. Yeah, I want the Chaotic Good gift set too. What is that going to look like? Now we need to figure it out. Yes, Haiku Magician, we're going to have to look into it because that seems pretty darn cool. Now everyone's asking if it's a real thing, right? Yes, this mug is pretty awesome, isn't it? I dig these mugs. We have a bunch of them that will be coming out soon. Josh Morgan, the Waterdeep Platinum Edition. What do you want to know? I believe that is coming from Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. I haven't seen a lot of the stuff that's come from that yet, but it looks fantastic. They were just most recently, Matthew Lillard and his crew working on the Beetle and Grimm's thing. We're just at GameholeCon showing off all of the amazing stuff. I was actually just looking at the website, and if you want to go to beetleandgrimms.com/reveal, you'll see all of the gloriousness that is in the box, and there is a spoiler version and a non-spoiler version too, if you want to go check that out and not learn too much about what's happening in your space. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys got to check it out. I am interested to see the response. I love what Beetle and Grimm's is doing, and I think it's going to be really cool. So check it out. I'm not sure. Did you have any specific questions about that thing? If you do, let me know. Hanselman, HasCon 2019. It will exist. That I know for sure. I'm not sure what D&D is going to be doing there, but we'll give more information on that in the months to come. But yes, it is going to be in Providence, Rhode Island. So hopefully I'll be able to give you a high five there again. Josh Morgan, the release date. I have heard that the release date will be the end of November for the Platinum Edition. And I don't think I have an update on that right now. But that's the last I heard, that it was going to be end of November. It was starting to ship out. Does that make sense to you? I think it does. I'm looking on their website now to see if they've updated that, but I don't see anything that changes that up. Yeah. End of this month. You should be getting them soon. So Condre 369, it is the core D&D core rules gift set. This is the alternate cover edition. So look for that. All right. So enough about those core rule sets and Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I'm going to move on to another product that's come out. The Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica. It looks glorious. It starts off with an amazing list of monsters and NPCs in their stat blocks there, as well as a letter from none other than Jace Beleren to get you going into what's happening, or to Jace Beleren, rather. What is Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica? Well, it is everything you need to play Dungeons and Dragons inside the plane of Ravnica from Magic the Gathering. Ravnica has always been a beloved setting for those folks in all of fantasy, but really on the Magic side of things. There's 10 guilds that rule all of life in Ravnica, and this book has been a labor of love for many of the folks on the D&D team, and it shows off how you can be a low-level member of a guild and go on adventures in the plane of Ravnica, which is an entire city. It's amazing. And as Haiku Magician is pointing out, the backgrounds for each of the guilds is a great way to have another set of stats and abilities and things to build upon within the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition mechanics, and it's fantastic. So you can play as one of the Golgari, one as the Demir, House Demir, who are all about spies. They use artifacts, almost like the way James Bond uses gadgets, and they don't necessarily know about all the other things. And all these 10 guilds work, some with each other, some against each other. There's just a lot of storytelling that you can jump into, and everything you need is in this one book. So it's pretty amazing to be able to get everything that you can. It's cool for D&D. It's cool for D&D fans because a lot of the stuff in the lore in this Ravnica setting is similar to fantasy that you know and love, but it's different enough that it will challenge some old school D&D players to come up with ways to get around the monsters and the problems that may come up in there. It's also some of my favorite stories in Dungeons & Dragons are political in nature, or who have factions who are working against each other, and that is rife in Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica. There's a bestiary, as I said. There is new races that you can play as, including the Loxodon and the Videlkin. Let me look at see where there is any races in here. The Minotaur, the Simic hybrid, as well as the different ways that humans, elves, centaurs, and goblins are treated in Ravnica are all described in here. There's also information about how to create adventures in Ravnica, not to mention more detail about the 10th district, which is just one of the districts on the entire plane of Ravnica that is an entire city. As I know, some Magic fans are very excited because that 10th district has never been mapped before, but it is mapped in here. And speaking of maps, bum bum bum. Well, Rex, you don't have to quit. You don't have to play Magic to get into Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica. You're playing D&D. You're just using the lore and the storytelling and the conflict between the guilds in this book. So maybe that's a way to get back in. I'm just saying, you don't necessarily have to. You absolutely don't have to play Magic in order to understand that. So as I was saying about some of the maps that are available in this here Maps and Miscellany pack for Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica, there is this map of the 10th district and what's it's like to do in there. Here is and each of the precincts are also kind of shown in more detail. So this is the precinct 1 of what happens there. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but here's like precinct 3 where it's a little bit more forested. There is also I'm trying to find okay, yeah, so here's some typical locations are mapped out here. This is called an arrestor station. An arrestor, I believe, is one of the Azorius' Senate guilds way that they talk about. Their peacekeeping forces are called arresters. What do? They arrest. They arrest you. They arrest bad folks. But all of these are also wet erase out there. They all have the guild symbol of what they kind of depict. This one is an Undercity mansion, it's called. So I believe this is Golgari, because they usually haunt the Undercity. This is one of their areas. I could be completely wrong about that. That could be a different guild. I am learning more about Ravnica in my conversations with Ari Levitch on Lore You Should Know. So it's fantastic. I don't know all of it. And I'm learning more, and I'm enjoying getting into it because there's all of this wealth of information and lore, fantastically made up lore that I found fascinating, and I love my conversations with Ari. So if you haven't been listening to those, watch Dragon Talk on Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific time, or go back and look at our old collections on YouTube, or listen to Dragon Talk on the RSS feed there. And here is some other bits you can get from this here, Maps and Miscellany. These are charms, things that you can get if you work well with one of these guilds. They might give you a charm as a reward. And I love these are like perforated. You can cut them out and hand them to your players. And this really iconic artwork adorns the other side of them. So good stuff here. This Maps and Miscellany pack. Here, let me make sure I know when this is coming out. Also on November 20th. So look for it in game stores on November 20th, as well as everywhere else after that. Again, tools that tools that you can use to play Ravnica, D&D within the setting of Ravnica. I feel like I was going to show you some other stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot about these. You guys like dice? Well, we put some dice into Ravnica and Dragon Heist so that you can check out the dice. So I'll stick with the Ravnica theme for a little bit right now. This is the Guildmasters Guide to Ravnica dice set. It comes in a nice circular tin, and the dice are arranged like that. Everything you need to play D&D, so the common polyhedrals. But this is what I wanted to show you. It's a oversized D10 with the symbols for each one of the guilds on the 10 faces there. And I won't begin to tell you which one is which. That's Demir. I know that's House Demir. And I don't know what that one is. That might be Selesnya. I don't know. I'm learning more and more. Oh, that's the Boros, right? Isn't that the Boros? I think that is. Anyway, so if you can use this in many ways. You can roll it if you want to choose a guild randomly as to who your character is working with. You can use it as an encounter, like DMs can use this as an encounter. You're walking along the city, and okay, you encounter a group of Boros in this case. So very cool, and again, I like how oversized it is, and should be fun. And then, of course, there are just the beautifulness of these blue and silver dice. I love that, and of course, hopefully, you'll roll a 20 and do well there. Cool tin. These are available in core stores now. They'll be available everywhere else on the 20th. All right, on to, I am totally a hand model. At least today I am Condre 369. We've got all the products in, so I gotta try and show them off. So yes, this is the Waterdeep Dragon Heist dice. Comes in a package, looks just like this. What are all these crazy things, you might say? Well, there are all the dice that you know and love. I love that there is, of course, an oversized D20. I'm a big fan of oversized D20s. I just want them to be as easy to read as possible. The 20 is, of course, in ampersand. They've got this blue and yellowish, goldish bronze. What is this thing? Huh? Yeah, as DC Lasser or D Classer says here in the chat, what is that thing? It is an counter. It's an HP counter. It's got 2 discs here. So if you say like, oh, I have, and it can stand up like this on its feet. So say I have 30 hit points. I got 30 hit points. Like, oh, I just hit it. I just got hit. So I do it. Now I've got 25 hit points, and it's a way to kind of show it off for people in front of you. Not just, we think hit points is probably going to be the thing that most people use this for, but you can also use it to count charges or to count down days before something bad happens. Anything that you have like a reason for everyone to see a numerical display of what's happening. That's what it can be used for, and I think it's great. It's got the D&D ampersand on the side. I think a lot of people will get tons of use for it. I just see a question here. Does the smaller D20? No, it does not have an ampersand. It just is the 20. But, well, I rolled a 1. So, okay, 18. Good. That's, all right, we're fine. Check those out. Those dice are available on the 20th as well. Everywhere, but in core hobby stores, they'll be available after that. So, that is cool. I think that's all the show and tell I have for today. So no more products. Thank you for bearing with me as I show off all of this amazing stuff. I will try to do it in the weeks to come. I got some other stuff to talk to you about, but first some programming news. Dice Camera Action is starting in just about 15 minutes, so I'm very excited for that. It is episode 116, I believe, I want to say. Is that true? 117. Man, time keeps on slipping into the future. So look for that. They're going to begin the Waffle Crew playing very soon. But I wanted to talk to you about some other stuff before that. Let's get to the news before I miss this, because this is something I want to make sure everyone is able to see. I want to show you this. So hold on, bear with me here. I'm going to dissolve to that. All right. So this was a cool thing that I wanted to talk about. So do you guys know the Pilobolus dance troupe? You may have seen them even without knowing what they were called. They are this group of dancers who do shadow movement and artwork. So they position their bodies in odd ways, but the way that there's a harsh light behind them and it shoots onto a screen, the way they are positioned looks like something else. And one of the challenges they did in a recent video created for Wired was a beholder. Someone showed them the artwork to the front cover of the Monster Manual with our friend the Xanathar on the cover. Someone showed them that image, and they did this with their bodies. Those are all people's bodies making all of those shapes on there. And it's awesome to behold. Check out the link there with the video. The YouTube link there that Lauren puts in there goes directly to them talking about it. It's super cool, interesting. I also just like that people who are in the arts in the world are creating stuff around pop culture, and they chose one of our beholders, and I think that's pretty awesome. And I love to see it. I can't wait to see if they do something more along those lines. Our friend Joe Manganiello spoke to Revolver Magazine and talked about what he's doing with death saves and why it's so cool. I have been wearing a bunch of the death saves apparel. It blends for me, and I didn't really, it didn't really cement into my brain until I read this quote from Joe that my love of, not necessarily Metallica and Fugazi, but dark, Led Zeppelin posters, as well as, even that kind of metal, heavy metal aesthetic. Is kind of part of the D&D culture, and of course, if you were thumbing through the recently released Art and Arcana book, you probably went through that era in D&D's history and might have felt a little bit of nostalgia. And that's part of what Joe Manganiello is trying to bring back with Death Saves, is that kind of aesthetic, for lack of a better word. So I'm excited. I like that he speaks so fluently about the nerddom that all of us, if not were involved in when we were younger, but at least we're aware of and is part of the D&D story of its culture and how it's developed over the last 44 years. So super cool. If you're interested in learning about what Joe is doing with that brand and Death Saves, take a look at this article, as well as look at his online store. It always continuously sells out of things, so check out what you can. There's some great t-shirts, some awesome pins and patches that you can put on all of your apparel. Some of them are cheaper, in the $10 range, so nothing that you have to break the bank for. So check it out if you can. And then finally, in the press side of things, I wanted to shout out this awesome article about Rob Daviau. I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I'll repeat it here. I used to be a game journalist. I would go to conventions and talk to game designers on the video game side of things all the time, and I never really got very starstruck. I was never that kind of a video game fan when speaking to folks who designed the video games, and I also knew that there was not an auteur type situation. It's not like there's one person who created an entire video game. You need teams of hundreds of people to put together some of the AAA games out there, even though they might have some great ideas and be the vision keeper of all of it. It wasn't quite a star, or at least I never met a star that made me feel starstruck, except once. When I went to a friend of mine's gathering in Boston for a PAX East, I want to say 2010 or 2011, and I was playing, oddly enough, Lords of Waterdeep, the board game. It had just come out fairly recently, and I was super excited about that board game. And I'd also been playing another board game called Risk Legacy, which I thought was amazing. The idea of putting stickers onto a board to permanently change the landscape for the next time that you play, ripping up cards, the idea that your choices in a board game matter from game to game to game, was this perfect meld of what I loved about strategy board games and what I loved about D&D and having this ongoing story. So I met Rob Daviau. Someone was like, oh, this is Rob Daviau. He did Risk Legacy. And my jaw dropped. You're Rob? you're Rob Davia? I couldn't believe it. We have gone on to work together in various ways, and I am so excited to talk about Betrayal Legacy, and it's coming out. I have successfully not play tested, or I know very little about what is in the content of this game because I didn't want to be spoiled. I wanted to play through it and learn all the surprises of what happens in that crazy house on the hill over generations. It is a legacy game, so what you do in that first session will matter in ones to come. You play as a member of a family, so your scions and your generations will continue to investigate this house and maybe get some boons based on what you did last time, or maybe some penalties. It's a beautiful thing, and I can't wait to jump into it. And this is a great profile by Wired Magazine of what made it cool. Check it out. Read this article if you can, if you're interested in learning more about it. This game is going to be out very soon, if not already. I'm just really excited for Rob and for my friend Shelly Mazanoble, who has been putting a lot of hard work into this. All the graphic design that Emmy Tanji and Trish Yoakum have been doing on the D&D team for this game. It's all coming together. It looks glorious, and I can't wait for more people to jump into it. So that's that. Check it out. All right. So that's about things that I've talked about here for a long time. I've talked about things that are coming out right now or in the very near future. Let's talk about some things that you may not have heard of before, some of which are available right now for pre-order, and some of which have not yet come to pass. So, what do you want to talk about first? Let's do this. What is that? That is an awesome dice bag made by our partners, for fans, by fans. It's a dragon. It's a little baby dragon. Kind of got that cute chibi feel to it. The drawstring, if you can see there, has wings attached to it, and it is the perhaps the end of the tail there. So when you tauten it up there, it is able to be shown. I love this. I can't believe this went under my radar. I didn't even know this was coming out until just now, and I think it looks fantastic. It is available now, I believe. You are able to get it. So go to those links. Excuse me, that Obo Crazy Lauren is throwing in the chat right now. It's for fans, by fans, and it is fantabulous for all of your dice holding needs out there. Yes. Oh yeah. So that's why I want to make sure you guys know it. So yeah, it is. I want to double check that it actually is available now. I think it is. It says shop now. So yeah, you can get it. Oh, it's available for pre-order. There you go. And yeah, go to the link that's in that tweet right now, and you can check it out. It is very cool looking, and I think a lot of people are going to dig it. All right, so that is that. Let me show you something else, which is also available for pre-order. Were you guys fans of a little thing called the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon? Anybody? No? I think you were. So Iron Studios is making a whole bunch of these figures available for you to purchase. You can pre-order them now. They're all based on characters in the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. Here is none other than the wizard. What's his name? Presto. I forget his name. Presto. Dun, dun, dun. Sakama Tana 5. Do not get on that roller coaster. You will be going into another world. Here is the thief, Sheila. I like that she very much almost looks like Velma from the Scooby-Doo, but she is very clearly Sheila, the thief. Oh. Well, dang. Now I'm all screwing up. I want to make sure I was showing them all good for you here. I know there was a couple more. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here is the acrobat, Diana. Very good. Very cool looking. Yeah, Daphne. Sorry, I meant Daphne, not Velma. Sorry, I get my my two ladies of Scooby-Doo mixed up. Here is Diana the acrobat. I think she looks awesome. I always liked her pole vaulting. Was half the reason why I tried pole vaulting in high school, was so that I could be like her. I fell a lot. And then, of course, everyone's favorite character, Uni. Uni and Bob, the guy who would throw down his club and it would create an earthquake. It was tons of fun. So yeah, these are available for pre-order now. They are going to be, I think, once they're out in stores. This is 1/10 scale, so they are. I'm not sure exactly how tall they will be in person, but I just love the art work of them. They get across the animated cell style really well without feeling too cartoony, for lack of a better word. So check them out. They're pretty cool. Then all of the characters are on there. I didn't get to show them all, but there is also Hank the Ranger and Eric the Cavalier are also available on there. No word on Tiamat yet, but you can check it out when go to the Iron Studios, pre-order these, and maybe even put in the fact that you want Tiamat on your wish list, and that may just happen. Who knows? So it's 2 minutes before Dice Camera action, and I wanted to thank you, everyone, for paying attention. You are awesome. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the Dungeons & Dragons Twitch channel. We love you very much, and we want you to feel as loved as we do. I am not going to be here next week. I'm taking next week away from Dungeons & Dragons news. There may be some folks in here. I'm not sure about that. Maybe Pelham will be doing it. Maybe. We'll have to see. But I will leave you to go watch Chris Perkins and the Waffle Crew do their thing with episode 117 of Dice Camera Action. See you later.